Welcome to the Wealth Blueprint Podcast, where we bring on guests that will teach you how to break the matrix. Most people are not taught on how to invest, understand how money operates, and learning the secret to living a limitless life. We will give you the knowledge, trials, and insight to create your own wealth blueprint. It's up to you to implement and act. Let's begin. I'm gonna intro right now.
He's gonna intro.
All right, guys. Hey, Bryce Gonzer. We are back with the Wealth Blueprint Podcast, and I have my friend Natalie Lemas who's going to be on here today. And we have about an hour, and we're about to get into it. We have a ton of different stuff involving real estate, starting up business, current market outlook, the whole 9 yards, right? So without further ado, I want to turn it over to Natalie, let her introduce herself. And Natalie, we've been kind of chatting behind the screen here for just a little bit. Give me just a quick, brief synopsis and background of what you do right now and all the hands you're kind of involved in regarding, your businesses.
Okay, awesome. All right, so I am an entrepreneur, serial entrepreneur. I'm always looking for ways to cash flow.
Yeah.
Cash flow, baby.
That's right.
I'm not looking for an exit. I'm looking for the flow, cash flow.
I like it.
So we own a property management business. We manage 3,000 apartment doors. And that business is growing. It's awesome. We have about 40 employees. Then my husband and I have our own real estate portfolio that we've grown over the last 10 years. It's worth about $15 million right now.
That's awesome.
And we started with nothing. Really.
Started from nothing.
Nothing. I mean, not even nothing. Negative 30,000.
So, okay. I think we should go in.
Negative 30,000.
I saw a post and it was you talking about, hey, we went from bad spending habits.
Yeah.
Taking advantage of easy debt, not good debt, bad debt.
Credit cards.
Credit cards. And you transform that into a real estate portfolio north of 15 million. Is that correct? Mm-hmm. Absolutely insane. Walk me through that process. Like that's a complete 360 turnaround.
Yeah.
What was it that made you kind of have that mental switch of, hey, I want to stop doing this and I want to start working towards that? And then what were the steps along the way that you started to implement?
Yeah, great question. Long question.
Yeah.
10-year journey.
Okay.
So I don't want to make it seem easy. It's not easy. Like
sure.
a decade, right?
Yeah.
You can have anything that you want if you just set your mind to it, truly.
Love that.
So my husband, I had to give him tons of credit because he is super wise. He's 10 years older than me. And I'm like, he says that he like tamed a wild horse. Like I'm crazy and he's like stable and smooth. And so he always said to me, he's like, Natalie, if we live like no one else right now, like the Dave Ramsey thing, if we live like no one else right now, then later we will be able to live like no one else can.
Yep.
And he's like, okay, so, and then we have like our thing. So with your partner, every person has their own like talents and gifts.
No doubt.
And I'm a great money maker. Like I love sales. I like getting after it. I like hustling. Mm-hmm. I like thinking of creative, strategic ways to make more money and to cash flow. So that's me. And then he's a money multiplier. So he manages all of our stuff. So we decided like in the and I like spending money, And so we had this big like meeting of the minds back when we were in debt and we're like, okay, how are we going to get out of this? And didn't want to be in the rat race forever.
Right. Were you guys in the rat race at the time?
Yeah, we
both?
were.
Okay.
Mm-hmm, totally. And just, doing our best to pay our bills. I mean, it was not fun, not pretty, and not a happy time.
Yeah.
And so, but we went to Dave Ramsey Financial Peace University.
Okay.
Have you heard of this?
I've heard of, obviously, Dave Ramsey. Is this like a seminar that he does?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
And so there's like 7 steps to getting out of debt.
Okay.
And we literally just did the 7 steps.
Just that simple.
Yeah.
Just follow the 7 steps.
We followed the 7 steps. And so then we got out of debt. And one of those steps was with your partner, you both create pocket money accounts. This is such a huge takeaway. So because like I never, ever wanted to be arguing about money with my spouse.
Yeah.
Like
it's the last thing you want to argue about.
I don't want to argue about anything.
Yeah.
Honestly, I want harmony. I want love. I want good vibes all the time.
That's
what I want.
I love that.
And so knowing that, we set a budget and we're like, okay, hey, you're going to have a debit card. Mm-hmm. I'm going to have a debit card. Mm-hmm. We're going to take what we bring in monthly and we're going to establish, okay, we get, I shit you not, it was $80 a month in the beginning. You get 80, I get 80.
For everything?
For your own personal expenditures.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
But we're talking gym memberships, haircuts, getting your nails
done.
Yeah. Lashes. I didn't do that. I only got my hair cut once a year.
Yeah.
At that time, right? Yeah. Lunches with friends, going out with friends, dinners, drinks, whatever. That was our budget.
Wow.
$80 a month each.
Was that worked from like a reverse math problem?
Yeah.
Okay, I figured. Okay, cool.
So we like set our priorities, and
Yeah.
it was like, okay, we brought in, I think together we were bringing in $5,000 a month together.
Okay.
And we took that 5,000 and we're like, okay, what are our priorities? Okay, we need to spend X amount a month on debt. And then from there, we were like, okay, we're going to start saving towards investing in real estate.
Okay.
And so, okay, what's that number? No, actually, the first thing was everything went to debt.
Everything went to debt.
Everything
Just
went
get
to
rid of the
debt.
high interest credit cards.
Exactly. Everything went to debt. So then once we got rid of the debt, then it became, okay, our priorities. So then we had a certain amount of $100 or whatever going to an investment account.
Okay.
Well, it was a savings account.
Okay.
To wait to invest in real estate.
For sure. Okay. Yeah.
And then, yeah, we had those little pocket money accounts, and that's like the humble little beginnings where we started.
That's crazy. Well, I think the obviously it took a while to get there, right? But the plan was relatively simple to follow.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of times people overcomplicate how hard it is to go from a negative equity position to a positive one. But
Yeah.
the plan is simple, but it's hard to act. It's hard to actually follow the plan into self-discipline. And I think for anybody listening, having a partner to do it with is like your own account. It's like a gym partner. You know what I mean?
Totally.
You wake up in the morning, you don't want to go. But if you have somebody else that you know is going to be at the gym at 6 a.m., it's like, okay, I have to go.
Right.
And so I strongly encourage, whether it's, obviously married or very long-term solidified relationship, start to work on that relationship financially, especially if you're in the real estate industry. The real estate industry has the highest divorce rate out of any other industry.
I didn't know that.
It's upwards of 70%, which is insane.
What?
So again, like you said, money's the
I'm like, I want to unpack that more. 70%?
70%, yes.
Of people that are married to a real estate agent?
Yeah. And I don't even know what the statistic
It's a bad
looks like.
life right there.
Exactly. I don't know what the statistic looks like if they're both in real estate, but I would have to assume
100%.
it goes up.
Oh my gosh, that's insane.
But it's a stressful industry, and so I can see that. But to your point, doing it with your spouse, I mean, myself as a loan officer, when we're dealing with a couple, 9 times out of 10, it's one person I'm talking to the whole time. And then there's sometimes some type of miscommunication along the way. The other person's out of it, just whatever, sign this, sign that. It's so crucial to work on that together. And I think it helps build, obviously, a financial literacy of understanding money, but also a relationship builder as well.
Totally. Oh my gosh. Yeah, no, 100%. I think I don't know, I know your podcast is not about marriage, but
No.
I'm like.
It's about wealth, blueprints. So
Okay,
wealth can be
to
interpreted,
me-
value can be interpreted
To
anyway.
me, I mean, I've known a lot of very wealthy people on paper.
Yeah.
But they're bankrupt in their marriage.
Yeah.
And to me, I would rather be eating is it called Top Ramen?
Top Ramen.
I don't even know what it's called. Eating Top Ramen. No more dinners at the Lively, El
Oh, yeah.
Diablo and Sons,
Yeah.
Barbacoa. No.
No.
I would rather be happy, like smiling, having a great time, like
Yep.
with my person on like a Craigslist couch eating Top Ramen than like rich, bougie, and miserable.
I agree.
And I do think money is it's like the number one thing people fight about.
Mm-hmm.
And so for Ugo and I, my husband's name is Ugo,
Ooh,
but
that's
it's
a cool name.
Hugo,
Okay.
and he's Mexican. Anyways, so we had a shared vision. We
Okay.
were like, we want time freedom.
Yeah.
That's what we want. We want to say where we go, when we go there, how long we stay. Like we spend every January in Mexico.
Yeah.
We spend the whole month there.
That's awesome.
And it's like, because that's just what we want. And we're working up to spending more and more time there and everything, but it's not happening as fast as we want. You know? Business is complex.
We're in Mexico?
Puerto Vallarta.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Never
yeah.
been. I've seen pictures. Looks beautiful.
Yeah, we were just able to buy a condo there. Well, we bought one in 2018, but then we just bought our like dream condo there like in this year in June.
I love that.
And so it's like, yeah, save. Don't spend as much as you make. It sounds so simple and it's like so
Yeah, so basic. So kindergartner level. And I think part of it comes down to
so few do it though. You know.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when I bought my first house prior to me getting into lending, I was living rent-free at my dad's house. He was nice enough to let me live rent-free. And I
There you
said,
go.
I want to buy a house. This is how much I need. This is how much I'm going to save every month. If I don't have to pay for, basically anything, no rent, maybe a little bit of food, cell phone bill, gas, reverse engineer it. How many months is it going to take for me to get 3%? Boom, I'm there. And that's exactly what I did.
But most people would just like milk that and go buy like all the toys and things that they always wanted to buy.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I think something that you said was that, and you didn't directly say it, but what you guys did is you delayed your gratification.
100%.
So you invested not only your money, but the value in yourselves and said, hey, I'm going to struggle, or not necessarily struggle, but I'm not going to live as lavishly. I'm not
Sacrifice.
Exactly. And I'm going to put that delayed gratification down the road.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of times today, it's get rich quick. It's how fast can I make the most money? Or how fast can I get to $1 million?
Get rich quick, lose it quick.
Exactly. And you guys did the exact opposite of that. And in a decade, I think a lot of people, they underestimate what they can do in 10 years and they overestimate what they can do in one or so. And so you guys stretched that out, and that's a huge accomplishment. So I think if anybody gets anything from this, it's delay it now, put it down the road, save money, discipline yourself, and just take baby steps. Those
don't give up. It will pay off.
Exactly.
It will pay off.
So what I want to know is, you got to a 15 million net worth in real estate. What was the first deal?
I mean, we bought a house.
Okay, so it was your primary?
Yeah, I mean,
Just
we bought a house.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then how did it scale from there?
Okay, so we bought a house, and then oh my gosh, we bought a duplex in Nampa, but in really shady part.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you lived in the first one, and then did you buy the second duplex as an investment, or
Yeah.
did you live in it?
No, as an I would
an
not.
investment.
I didn't.
Oh, yeah,
my husband probably would have been like, let's go buy the shittiest place, but I was not. I was willing to sacrifice, but not that far, right?
Okay.
So we had a house in Southeast Boise. We bought it for 302, 203. Shoot, I can't remember. One of those. I think it was $203,000, and it was brand new.
Okay.
Bought it in 2011, so
Jeez.
the bottom of the market, and bought it with 3% down, the whole thing.
Yeah.
And then the first deal was we bought a duplex in Nampa, and I was scared to go out there. It was full of pit bulls, and it was shady.
Was it already rented?
Yes.
Was it already, okay.
Yeah. But I quickly realized, and I think this is such a good takeaway for everyone listening, I quickly realized that was not a good investment. Quick. I realized it quick. I was like, this is not going to appreciate well. Rents are not going to go up here.
Just from the market where it was?
Yes.
Okay.
From where it was, location.
Location's huge, obviously, when it comes to a rental.
Everything. So the location was not good. It was in a shady part of town, full of... People always get mad when I say pit bulls. You're like, what's wrong with a pit bull? It's but they were untrained pit bulls, okay?
Yeah. They look at, they can be mean.
Yeah, hello. So, and chain link fences, and so we sold it very quickly after we bought it.
How quickly?
Probably 14 months or something, quick.
Okay.
And so we made a little bit of money, not much, maybe 10K or so.
Gotcha.
But at least we made something, and we got out.
Exactly.
And that, I think, is crucial, because if we would have just kept on trying to make it be something it wasn't, the location was wrong.
Yeah.
So then after that, that's when I started to taking off in sales.
Okay.
So I sold commercial real estate. I always say I sold, but I mean, this year I think I closed 28 million or something in commercial real estate. But
Already, that's awesome.
But we're talking 3 buildings.
Yeah. Commercial.
It's actually 3. It was 3 buildings.
3 buildings for 28.
Yeah.
There you go.
So it's not something I'm
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I got you.
I'm not out there doing what I used to do.
What you used to do.
Which is cold call, grind, networking events.
Right.
I mean, the whole thing.
When did you get into that again? Was that before or after the first house?
It was kind of during.
Kind of during. Okay.
Yeah. So it was after, but within the same 2 years.
Gotcha.
So then I started, making commissions. And so then my income was increasing, and our spending was staying the same.
Nice.
And that is a game changer.
That was one of my questions is, okay, you started to increase the money coming in every month.
Stay the same.
But stay the same.
Same.
Okay.
Still act
Was there a conversation, or is it just it was pretty quick, hey, you and me, same page, same goal, it hasn't changed, everything stays the same? Or did you have to kind of come back in, have a come to Jesus moment?
I think we had a couple. We continuously have come to Jesus. We had one last night on our date night,
okay.
and because I like to go out of bounds a lot, I'm a daredevil, and he always reels me back in. I respect him, and I see what we've done.
Yeah.
I can see the fruit of our labor, But in the beginning, I was like, come on, can we do this or can we do that? I think a lot of women are like that.
For sure.
But to women out there, don't buy the Louis Vuitton bag or buy a fake one.
Yeah.
It's just as good. Who cares?
Yeah.
So, and who are you trying to impress anyways?
Yeah.
I
think it's both
no one's
sides.
gonna know if it's fake or real on an Instagram post.
Exactly. They see it from afar. It's
totally. Seriously. Okay, I don't have a Louis Vuitton bag, but
I don't either. It's okay. Yeah, we're good.
So then my income started going up. expenses stayed the same. And then we bought a 5-unit place. It was 5 little bungalows in the North End.
Okay, so you rolled the 2 to a 5. Is that what happened?
We didn't 1031 it.
But you sold it and said, okay, we're going to put this.
Yep.
Love it.
Yep.
And then it just kind of grew from there? And
no, so that place was really worn down. It was in bad repair, really ugly. But I also want to say, I have to like say thank you to God, because there's so many times in my journey, in our journey, my husband and I, where it's like, it doesn't make sense how that happened.
Just kind of lined up.
Well, no, they had 10 offers on it. 10 offers on this 5 bungalows on 18th Street, anyways, by Hyde Park. And they accepted one offer. The first offer, it wasn't us.
Okay.
They accepted an offer. It fell through because the guy was going to get a divorce and move into one of the bungalows, and then he reconciled with his wife.
Oh,
so it fell through.
Okay.
And then they took another offer, and that one fell through too, because the guy did a walkthrough, and he's like, no, this is way too much work. It's in such bad repair, blah, blah, blah.
Just going down the line.
Yeah. And then the agent, this is where relationships come in. The agent knew us from networking and things like that. And she told her seller, like, because the seller was like, what? I don't want this to keep falling through, right? And the agent was like, I know these people.
Yeah.
They have a property management company. They have resources where they can fix these units up. They're not going to be afraid of like the grossness that it is.
Yeah.
They won't walk away.
Yeah, they'll look past all that. Yeah.
Yeah, so she vouched for us.
That's awesome.
And so that's how we got it out of like 10 other offers, which is insane.
That's sweet.
And so relationships are everything.
Absolutely.
Totally. So that's how we got that one.
Okay. And so
we fixed it up.
Yeah. And I think as an investor.
And tripled the rents.
And triple the rents. That helps as well. It helps the bottom line when those things go up. And yeah, as an investor, like looking past, you know, what the visual is and seeing the dollar signs, not looking at what the paint is, not looking at like what's in the yard, right? But hey, can I fix this up? Can I make it pretty? Can I put lipstick on it? Can I increase the rents? And I'm in a lot better position, right? So I think that's a huge mindset that people have to eventually, you know, get over and hurdle. So as we continue down the line there, so does it just continue to go to bigger multifamily as you guys are kind of going into
No, we have
investments?
a lot of random stuff.
Okay, I love it. That's awesome.
Land, office, condos.
All of them. Yeah, diversified real estate portfolio. Okay. So go back to the relationship part. So we're talking about relationships. It seems like you grew pretty quickly once you got into the commercial world. And I feel like a lot of people within the industry, loan officers, real estate agents, whether that's commercial, residential, they struggle with where do I start? How do I get leads? How do I network? What'd you do?
Ooh, okay. So I love this question. So my mom started her career when she was 26 years old in San Francisco.
Okay.
She worked for a big firm called Marcus & Millichap, huge.
And is that
commercial real estate?
Okay.
And she was one of 2 women in an office of 500 dudes in the 80s.
Wow, that's tough. That's a barrier to entry right there.
Yeah, but my mom's a badass, and she became she was in the top 7 salespeople of the whole office every year she was there. And she also started Crew, which is commercial real estate women. There's 10,000 members now all across the U.S. She's amazing.
Yeah.
And so I asked her, I was like, how am I going to break into this? And she said, nobody cares how old you are, what your color of your skin is, what your gender is, or your background, or how many deals you've done, as long as you have the knowledge.
Love that.
She's like, knowledge will trump everything.
Love that.
Knowledge will trump their old buddy at the country club that they've been talking to. Knowledge wins. And so that's where I started, was just to become as knowledgeable as I could, more knowledgeable than anyone else about my niche. And where I started was multifamily and owner-occupied deals, SBA 504 deals.
Cool. Love that.
And so became an expert in that, and that was like my thing.
I 100% completely agree with people. When you're talking to a stranger for the first time, they will put trust in you simply because you seem like an expert in your field. I don't know you from anywhere, Natalie, but I want to buy commercial real estate from you because you seem like an expert, right? And that's across the board, whatever industry you're in. Huge advocate of that. Before you even got a deal done, right? You hadn't gone through anything. What did you do to like accumulate the knowledge so that when you had the chance to talk to an investor, talk to a business owner, that you were able to spit it and know exactly what you're talking about? Did you research? Did you like write scripts with yourselves? What did you do prior to even selling?
Oh, okay. Yeah. I mean, I did do scripts,
Okay.
yes, but I found mentors. So specifically, like in that SBA 504 program, I became an expert. So I talked to the loan officer, like,
Nice.
tell me more, teach me, because
that.
your loan officer knows so much about how to get a deal done
Right.
and the mechanics of it. And when you can bring that to your client, like you said, you're going to make them feel so much more at ease.
Exactly.
So I think for me in the beginning, it was talking to a lot of loan officers about that specific program, the mechanics of it, how it worked, knowing how to run the numbers and how to show. At the time, my kind of like pitch was like, hey, I can show you how you can own your own building and pay less per month, right?
Wow.
Right now you're a tenant.
Yeah.
So you want to buy your own building, you can get appreciation. It's a low down payment. You think that commercial's 20% down, but it's really 10% down for
Right.
this specific loan. And I just educate them on it. And then I'd show them the numbers. And I'd say, okay, right now you're paying X in rent. Look, if you buy your building, you're going to pay the same or less with the benefit of appreciation and all the tax write-offs of owning your own building.
Love that.
And no one was doing that. No one still is doing that. And I'm just like, someone needs to do that.
Absolutely. Well, I want to talk to you about that outside of it because I didn't even know about the 10% thing.
Yeah,
So
yeah. People don't know about it.
They don't. No, especially I mean,
Education.
it's huge. So could not agree more. That topic, what you just said, everything was like spot on, right? And I think a lot of people, whether it's commercial or residential or a different field, they try to stay in their lane, right? And if you can be perceived as an expert within that industry that you're in, you can answer so many more questions. So I like what you said, going and talking to a loan officer. You're not a loan officer. That's not your job. You don't get paid on that. But you wanted to understand the finance behind it. So when you were in front of somebody, you could articulate it well and you could speak on that and, again, be perceived as an expert. And that's a huge piece of advice out there for anybody within the real estate world. Branch out and learn about the finance.
Yes.
Learn about the real estate
The
part
numbers.
of it. Everything.
And on the multifamily side, I did the same thing, but with investors. So I had the great opportunity and it just luck or blessing to know a couple people that owned some apartment buildings.
Yeah.
So I took them out to lunch.
Okay.
And I'm like, okay, explain me this. How does this work? And getting mentorship that way was huge.
Yeah.
And that's the thing I think is so interesting. A lot of people have ego and they're afraid to be perceived as they don't know things.
Yeah.
Or like, oh, she should know that. She has a real estate license. Like, are you kidding me?
There's
Real estate license didn't teach me shit.
No, it taught you how not to get thrown in jail. That's all the license did. Like
maybe
getting it,
if I was like slept through the class. Are you kidding me? But not being afraid. I mean, just the other day I was telling you I am the panel host.
Yeah.
And I don't know about raising $750 million to put into a syndication fund, and I don't know how to create a privately held REIT.
Yeah.
I don't know how.
Yeah.
But I'm not afraid to ask. I literally do not care. Because at the end of the day, the only person cashing checks in my bank account is me.
Is you.
And I don't care about what anyone else says or how they perceive me. I do not care.
That's awesome. I wish more people had that. And from everything that this is the first time that we've met up, from everything that I've been able to tell from you, is you're just cool with rolling with the punches. Like,
you have to be.
Absolutely. And that's
so many punches out there.
So many punches. They're all over the place. But I think, again, people that get into a new business, or they want to become an entrepreneur, they want to start a business, they have to be okay with that. And you have to welcome the punches. If you're scared of getting punched, stay at the 9 to 5, right? Because the entrepreneur world is up and down. It's crazy. So
I love that. If you're scared of getting punched, stay at your 9 to 5.
Stay at the 9 to 5. Stay at the 9 to 5. It's not for you. So let's go into the finance side. Let's go into the numbers.
Okay.
One question I have is, are we playing in a rigged system?
Ooh. Oh, yeah.
How so? So
like what? Yes.
So what I mean is,
are we gonna start talking about flat Earth too, or what?
Probably we'll save the flat Earth for the next time that you come on. But a lot of people, there's a wealth gap.
Okay, wait. Before you even start, here's what I want to say.
Okay, go ahead.
Don't hate the players. Okay. No, wait. Don't hate the game.
Okay.
Right? Like, don't hate the game. I think so many people can become jaded over this because, it is rigged and there is a wealth gap. And cry me a river, because at the end of the day, there is still upward mobility. There's more upward mobility in this country right now than any other.
I agree completely.
But the doors are closing. Like there's a massive desire and push to consolidation, and it's going to get even more consolidated as baby boomers retire.
Yep.
What's happening is PE firms are rolling up all the vet clinics, all the optometrists, and it's getting like becoming conglomerates.
Yep.
And it's going to be more and more wealth in the hands of fewer and fewer people. However, like I'm not going to let that make me sad. I'm not going to let that make me feel like a victim or that I cannot get ahead. I'm going to be smarter, right? And the cool thing is that in this market, I've been telling people this for like a few months. I got this from a friend because we were talking about how horrible it is, the wealth gap and all this. And she's a real estate agent, really successful. And she's like, you know what? If I was 22 and I wasn't married and I didn't have the money to buy a house on my own, I would say, screw the system. I'm going to get 4 of my roommates. I'm going to have a lawyer draft up a tenants in common.
Yep.
And I'm going to buy a house with my 4 friends or whatever and pay rent to ourselves and wait till this house appreciates. And if one of them wants to move out, they rent their room, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And she's like, there's still ways. You just have to be smarter, more strategic, and more bold because tide is changing big time.
Absolutely. No, I, again, love everything that you just said. There is an equality gap. There's no doubt about it. And if I were to bet, I would say that is going to continue to spread as the years go on. But if you can become educated, if you can self-educate yourself in what you're trying to do, you will have a leg up against everybody else.
100%. And you know what? There is no education gap.
Yeah.
There's actually, education has become democratized. Like what we're talking about right now and having you producing this, this is free content for people. And I watch all your stuff and it's good. And I'm always like, yes, I love what he says. Yes, that's true. He's smart, and that's out there free for people to consume. And how many other channels are like this? And how many people like pop in my DMs and ask me a question and I respond, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, it used to not be like that.
No, it didn't. It didn't.
At all.
So if there's free, quote unquote, free endless education out
Totally.
there, then what's stopping people?
Fear.
Fear of the unknown?
Let me tell you a story.
Tell me a story.
Okay, so I was 24.
Okay.
And this is 10 years ago.
Okay.
I'm 34.
Okay.
And I was going to a seminar and it was like they gave you a free first day.
Okay.
And you go to this free first day and at the end of the seminar, they sell you on the rest of it. And it was $750.
Okay.
And this was when we were in debt. And I was like, I can't afford this. We don't have the money. We are in debt, And this was when I first got my license and the whole thing. And I remember coming home. No, I called my husband on the break.
Okay.
And I was like, Amor. I call him Amor. I was like, Amor, what should we do? Like, I want to do this thing. I know this will help me. These people know what they're doing. They've sold a bunch of stuff. Like, they're smart. I can see the success coming out of this group. I want to be involved, but it's $750. Like, we can't afford it.
Yeah.
And he was like, Natalie, he goes, you know what the best investment that you can make is? With endless returns? And I was like, what? I told you he was wise. I'm like, what is it? He's like, investing in yourself. He goes, because you're going to take action. And I was like, yeah, you're right. And so then I go to the class, right? But then I get in my head because I'm like afraid to take action. I was so afraid to pick up the phone and make my first cold call. I cried. On the break, they're like, okay, guys, here's your scripts. Go out in the hall and make your cold calls. Bryce, I sat in my car and I cried.
Because you were afraid of like someone saying like no or
I
like
didn't
yelling
want
at
to
you?
talk to anyone. Okay, I didn't want to say. I didn't know. I was young. I didn't know enough. I wasn't smart enough. I wasn't connected enough. I didn't have a track record. All the reasons, And so I literally cried. But then I made the call anyway. But I was like,
but you eventually
shaking.
did it.
Yeah. And so I went home and I told my husband, I'm like, yo, tonight, like today at the class, like I'm so afraid. It's so scary. Like can't not believe. And then he looks at me again. And he's like, you know what the difference is between us and like Mark Cuban and Barbara Corcoran and Sarah Blakely and Elon Musk? And I was like, well, they have money. He's like, no, it's not it. I'm like, they have connections. He's like, no, it's not it. And I'm like, that they've done it before and they have like a track record. And he's like, no, you're wrong. I'm like, well, what is it? Like, dude, what
Tell me.
is it?
Yeah.
Tell me. And he's like, he speaks Spanish. We speak Spanish at home. And he's like, acción.
I love that.
Action.
Yeah.
They take action. They don't care if they fall on their face. They don't care like what happens. They learn. They iterate. They modify. They get back up again. They take action.
Yep.
And he's like, Natalie, if you want to be like one of those people, he's like, you're going to have to get over being afraid and start taking some massive action. And I was like, okay.
Goosebumps over here. Rich, I hope you're getting all this, man. That is, I absolutely love that. Action is the one thing. And because you don't have to be the smartest. There's a ton of other people out there that are smarter than myself, than you.
Me? Yeah, are you kidding me?
But just the steps every day. If you take a step every single day, you will.
I'm like, we got a high five.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Give me some. No, I absolutely love it. When I came into the loan officer world, I said I'm going to be the best, biggest loan officer within a very short time frame. And what I did to build that book of business is I cold called as many agents as I could. I called, so they're all public information, right? So just Google them, right?
Yeah.
So one day,
even if they're not public, you can find them.
I find them, right?
Yeah.
And so I remember one day where the night before I stayed up and I made 100 agents contact info, 100 names, and I called 100 agents in one day. And I would have, I probably had over 1,000 meetings in that Royal Coffee down there, Starbucks. I would have 3, 4, 5 meetings a day when I first started. And I didn't care about if they asked me a question that I didn't know, because I knew that if they asked that question and I didn't know it, I would write it down and I would solve a problem that day. I would say, hey, that's a really good question. I'll get back to you on it. And we kind of just continue the conversation, right? But every time that I got presented in an uncomfortable position, I learned something. And that helped me expedite to a top 1% originator in less than 3 years very quickly.
That's badass.
Right? And so if you can just simply swallow the pride or whatever it is, and you're going to be shaky on the phone and it's okay, but if you can just take those steps every single day, you'll look back and you'll replay that movie and you'll be like, wow.
That's the thing. Nobody's willing to do that. 1% are.
1%. Absolutely. I love that. Woof, love it. Okay, we're going through your real estate adventures over the last several years.
I love how you call it adventures.
They're adventures.
They are. I know.
I'm going through some really fun adventures right now in real estate. What have you found that has been unique, creative with either taxes or generating income? So, a lot of people know about 1031 exchanges.
Yeah.
Have you come across, deferred sales trusts, opportunity zones, just overall tax, mitigation with using real estate, or unique, creative cash flows that a lot of people just don't know about?
Oh my gosh, that's a great question. Okay, so really interesting. About maybe 6 years ago, I was super into like that line. Obviously 1031s, cost segregations, opportunity zones, that's all out there, and it's not maybe super creative, but I'm not going to tell you anything that you like haven't read on the internet.
Right.
But I will tell you something that I learned through my like endless pursuit to avoid or defer or whatever taxes.
Yeah.
Just pay them.
Just pay.
Yeah, literally. That's what it
them?
came down to. Do the 1031 if it makes sense.
Yeah.
So, super, super fortunate to we have a fractional CFO / kind of like financial consultant guy that is ridiculously smart, way smarter than me. He's the author of this book called Simple Numbers.
Okay.
Amazing. And we had this whole conversation because my husband and I received a super great offer on a piece of land that we own. And we would have netted a lot. And I said, well, what are we going to do? Because if we sell it, we will have to pay this big tax bill.
Yeah.
Or we can 1031. And he said, here's the thing. He's like, most people 1031 because they feel like they want to avoid the pain of writing the check.
Yeah.
He said, but a lot of times what they're 1031ing into, and I've seen this as a broker, is inferior to what they're actually sold.
Gotcha.
And
I would agree.
Yes. And the sad thing is that brokers and things make their money off of transactions.
Yeah.
So a broker's not necessarily going to be like, yeah, no, don't.
It's not a good deal.
Yeah, it's not a good deal. Or
they're
not going to say like, oh yeah, go ahead and pay the taxes. They're going to want to keep the ball rolling, which is understandable.
Sure.
That's fine. So this guy, Greg Crabtree is his name. He was like, do you see anything out in the market that you're really excited to roll this money into? And I'm like, no. And then he's like, what about paying the taxes? How do you feel about that? I'm like, no. And he's like, okay, then don't sell it. And also what I've realized through working with super high net worth people, they don't sell most of the time.
They don't sell ever, or they just keep rolling it over into something bigger?
Both.
Both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of times they don't sell though, because also in the sale there's, I mean, if you really want to build wealth in the sale, there's a lot of fees. You
Yeah.
got the commission.
Especially as those dollar amounts keep going up and up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so one of my husband and I's goals is to never sell. And we've sold a couple single family things that we were holding on to, but it just didn't match our portfolio goals.
Yeah.
But once we kind of like hit where we want in our to be in our portfolio, we don't see it ever selling them.
I love it.
That's our tax strategies.
Hey,
don't sell.
If you just never sell, then you don't have to worry about it. That's a great strategy to have.
There you go.
Buy really good assets and hold them for a very long period of time.
Nailed it.
That's the same principles that, Charlie Munger and some of the biggest investors in the world just buy good assets and
hold them.
And hold.
There you go.
Very simple.
Yeah.
Hard to do.
Hard to do because the pressure is there. Like, the deal.
What about this? What about that?
Yeah.
Yep.
It's also discipline. You got to have discipline.
Are we in a recession right now?
I don't know. Is a recession like a state of mind?
Probably. I would agree with that. I would say the recession is a state of mind. I feel like you're not in that mindset right now, though.
No, I'm expanding.
You're expanding. So what are you doing right now?
Oh man, I don't know if I can disclose on the podcast.
You don't have to disclose. I mean, say what you can, but I'm interested. Like, by definition, we're in a recession. We have now home price. What was it? I was just reading. Home price sales are now the worst. Have surpassed 2008 as far as how many people are buying homes right now.
The lowest.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mortgage applications, I think, are at like a 25 low or something like that.
Yeah, down over 50% year over year.
Yeah.
I mean, stock markets lost trillions and trillions of dollars. S&P's down
But you
like
know
20%.
who's gonna buy those homes?
Probably institutions. Yeah.
Wall Street.
Wall Street, absolutely. Well, interesting fact. Q4 of last year, one of every 3 homes was bought by a hedge fund, some type of financial institution.
Nation of renters, that's what they want.
Absolutely. Going all the way back to 2008, after the housing crisis, right? 15,000 homes were bought, give or take, from an institutional investor, right? Mm-hmm. Each quarter. So 15,000 for 4 quarters after 2008. In 2021, the number was like 88,000 in Q4.
Yeah.
Absolutely insane.
So I guess Wall Street has a goal to own 60% of all single-family homes in the United States.
Wow. Jeez. And rent's 100% interest, and it's just keep going up. Mm-hmm. That's crazy. So, okay. Yeah, that's a whole other topic we could get into.
Yeah.
But what are you doing, like, from just again, say what you can say, but just generally speaking, what are you doing right now to either protect your businesses or expand your businesses? Because there's a lot of fear out there.
Yeah. Well, I think you have to know where you are, okay, in your cycle.
Yeah.
So let me give an example. So Keith Cunningham is a mentor of mine. I've been in a lot of his masterminds and the classes and stuff and read all of his books. Do you know him yet?
I don't.
He's amazing. He's not on Instagram or anything. He's like a super wise old dude that built like a car. He was a real estate developer, lost $100 million.
Oh.
Developing real estate.
It's a lot of zeros.
Yes, because of a salamander. Long story. But anyways, and then he built his whole thing back up via car washes and other businesses. Okay. So he wrote this book called The Road Less Stupid. Amazing book. He's a super like no nonsense dude. He said recently we were in a class with him and he was like, know where you're at in your life cycle. He's like in his, I don't know, upper 70s.
Okay.
And he goes, do I think that people are going to have less and less car washes in the future? Yes. Because do I think there's going to be less cars on the road in the future? Yes. Because of ride sharing and all of this.
Self-driving Ubers and all that sort of stuff.
And he said, and I'm also old. And so it's time for me to cash out.
Yeah.
So he cashed out at the top of the market right before this all started sliding down. Because he's like, I cannot survive. Like, I don't have the time to build up again because of the cycles of where he's at in his life and where the market cycle is.
Yeah.
Okay, but then you look at someone like, you're younger than me, but, us.
Yeah, us.
And it's like, okay, where are we at in the cycle? Well, I'm still in expansion mode. Yeah. And also our business, we manage rentals.
Yeah.
And so that is going to be something it's recession proof. People need a roof over their head.
Yep.
People need to have a place to live.
Especially a rental. Where there's a barrier to entry to getting into a mortgage. There's boxes that you have to fit into.
Right.
There's a lot bigger box when you're talking about a rental.
Yeah,
Completely agree.
you can totally rent. And most of our rentals are more of like the middle of the road type of rental,
Copy.
not your class A fancy schmancy, because those ones are going to take a dive.
For sure.
For sure. And those are going to experience the highest vacancy. And in the last few years, those were the only type of buildings being built.
Really?
Because those were the only ones that could actually pencil out at the high construction cost.
Yeah.
Right. So
Okay.
the high construction cost, so they had to build super high end buildings with high rents in order to make that all pencil.
That makes sense.
Those are going to experience a vacancy
I would
because
agree.
household consolidation, and people are going to move into more run of the mill housing that's
Okay.
less money. So for us, we're in expansion mode.
Love
you
that.
know, we are investing in our people. We are bringing more things in house, becoming more vertically integrated. I believe in I always ask myself this question. Okay, maybe this is like a little cheat code alert.
All right, here we go. Listen up.
Okay, what is the fastest, easiest, lowest hanging fruit way that I can add profit to my business today?
It's a good question to ask.
It's a super simple question.
Yeah.
Complex because you have to think about it, which is why I say business is an intellectual game.
Yep.
And so for me, the answer to that question is going more vertical.
Yes.
Vertically integrating.
Absolutely.
More and more.
I was going to come back to that. That term is coming up more and more in a lot of different businesses. With me being in real estate, I'm seeing it more and more to kind of reduce again that overhead to increase profits, et cetera. What are you doing right now to become more vertically integrated within the rental game, and kind of explain what that means?
What that means? Okay, so we do leasing, we do managing, but we also have an entire maintenance company.
Okay.
So that maintenance company services all of our rentals.
Right.
So we're not vendoring that out.
Exactly.
So we get to,
Profit
from having all of that in-house versus contracting out.
Love that.
Yeah.
It's not
So
just the
that's-
debt anymore going out, right? So being able to say, okay, what can I bring in-house? What can I eliminate my debt from and actually add revenue profit, towards my company, which is huge, right?
Yep.
So the gist that I got from all of that was understand where you're at within your own personal and business cycle, right?
100%.
Understand, is it time to expand? Because I feel like you're absolutely right. It might be a really good market, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's the right time for you and your business to be taking on new projects to expanding. It might be time to, consolidate a little
Batten
bit.
down the hatches or whatever.
Stay
right?
exactly where you're at. So I think that evaluation.
Hold on.
Right?
Conserve capital or whatever.
Is that do you run some type of analysis to determine that? Or is that just all kept upstairs where I know I can, I have a read for the market, I have a read for my business, and I can kind of tell, go up, go down, stay steady?
Yeah.
Or is it an actual pen and paper on a computer?
So for me, it's both. I'm definitely run by, I have a really deep and colorful, I would say, spiritual life.
Okay.
So pretty much everything I do, I pray about it, and
Okay.
I get maybe some people would call it intuition,
Sure.
spirit
You
led.
feel something. Yeah.
100% spirit led. But then I validate that with the numbers. Right.
Okay,
So
so it backs
I'll
it up.
run an analysis and see, okay, if I invest in bringing these elements of my business in-house, right, whether it's painting, flooring, more of the maintenance side, what's that going to cost me? How much can I, how many times a week can I schedule these guys out? What's my profit? So I will run the analysis, but generally the idea comes from
Inside.
within. Yeah.
I love that.
Well, it comes from God
Yeah.
through my prayer.
Through you. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's how I roll.
I like it. No, I like it. Everybody's got something that they do that's different. So I'm always curious on how do business owners assess different things, right? And I'm more or less similar. I'm not as on the spiritual side, but there's a feeling. Whenever something starts to feel like, hey, we need to fix that, we need to tune this, it'll start here, and then I'll start to think about it, run the numbers, etc. So
I think that's a lot of entrepreneurs, right? You kind of get an intuitive hit about where the market's going or what, and then you'll dig in and see if your feeling can be substantiated with facts and data.
yeah, does it keep you up at night?
No.
No?
No, I actually, no.
You sleep pretty good?
I sleep like a baby.
That's
yeah, no, because you know what? Money's not my God.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, my self-worth is not in the business or what I've produced,
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's taken me a while to get there, for sure.
It's a crazy, like I said, that's an awesome turnaround story.
2018, that's where I had to hit a low in that, where I had to realize, you know what? Success on the outside where if people applaud me and stuff, like that's cool. But really it's like, do I feel good about my own self if it all goes away tomorrow?
Yeah.
Like that's how I keep myself humble. I'm like, if this all goes away tomorrow, I ask myself a lot of questions. I'm weird like that. I'm like, Natalie, if everything goes away tomorrow, real estate portfolio, business, everything goes to zero.
Yeah.
Are you still good? That's what I said. It was the beginning of the podcast.
Yeah.
Like on that Craigslist couch. I mean, my husband and I got all our furniture from Craigslist for like literally $700, our whole like apartment, you know?
That's awesome. Well, there's a quote that comes to mind, and I can't remember who said it, but it went exactly like this: "Don't be a public success, but a private failure."
Amen.
And so I absolutely agree with that. And when you said, so going back to 2018, there was just an event that happened or something happened where it said, hey, it's no longer about chasing the dollar, and it's more about who I am as a person with my spouse, et cetera, something like that.
Yeah. What happened was I got everything I wanted.
And then it didn't feel is that the feeling that you got when you had it all wasn't what you thought.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I was like, wait, what?
Huh.
I checked every box.
Yeah. And
all my whole vision board is complete. Like, this is crazy. And then I just felt like crap.
Wow. So did you just kind of have to, how long did it take you to get out of that, or to kind of process what had just happened? Like, hey, I accomplished everything I wanted to do, and it wasn't what I thought it was.
Yeah.
How long did that take to kind of get out?
Maybe a year to a year and a half.
Oh, okay.
But it was really dark times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's important for anybody listening. And my sister, she just had this conversation with me, and she's the cool one in the family. Like, I do loans and I crunch numbers, right? But she works on backcountry horse ranches and does like the cowgirl thing. I mean,
that's fun.
Way more exciting than me, right? But she talked to me the other day, and she said, I'm looking at getting into real estate. She's seen the success that, I've had, and whether that's a real estate agent or a loan officer, et cetera, and who knows what will bring down the road. But I said, don't chase the dollar, because if you chase the dollar, you're going to get burnt out. There's eventually going to come a road. There's going to become a time where you've been doing all of this for what? Monetary gain, where there's nothing that makes you, a better person, because you just have all this money. You have to love exactly what you do. So we grew up in a household where my dad is a teacher at Timberline, and he runs a mentorship program.
Oh, fun.
And so we grew up with this coaching mindset. I played sports, and that's kind of how I fueled my coaching mindset. Is I love to coach. Like when we had like little kids camps and stuff like that during the holidays, like I love to coach. And then when I got done with athletics, I was actually coaching, collegiate athletes, professional athletes, high school athletes. I love to coach, and she has that too. So I was like, if you can figure out a way to do something that we're both naturally good at and morph it into an industry, whether that be real estate, whether that be counseling, etc., you can make, and there's the U.S. dollar is an infinite money supply. So there's infinite money out for you to get, but it's got to be something that you're naturally and wanting to be better at and good at, right?
Yeah.
So don't chase just the dollar.
No, it'll leave you empty.
It will.
Very.
It will. We talked about a ton of stuff today.
Yeah, we did.
Ton of stuff, and I'm super excited to get this out. Is there anything specifically that you think someone that is on your audience and my audience listening to should take away from today? If it's just one thing, whether that's towards their business, towards their personal life, just some type of blueprint that we can give them, what would you say was one of the most important things?
Don't give up.
Don't give up. I like it. Baby steps.
No matter what, just don't give up. Your vision will come to pass if you don't give up.
That's right.
It might take longer, 10 times, 5 times, 20 times longer than you wanted it to. It might be 10 times harder. Your own family might not believe in what you're doing, because we didn't even get into that.
Amen.
But your own family might shit on your dreams or say don't do that or whatever, or friends.
Yeah.
Block out the noise.
Do your thing.
Keep your eyes forward. Don't give up.
Love it. This was by far my favorite podcast so far. I'm super excited to
Stop
continue
that.
connecting. Ladies and gentlemen, Natalie Lemas, Bryce Gonzer, this is the Wealth Blueprint Podcast. We'll catch you guys next time.